My husband, David, and I, we love road trips. Absolutely love them. 12 hours in a car for us is not too long. It is not too long at all. I know I have friends where 1 hour is too long. They would rather fly anytime they can, get there, and be done. But we love to be in the car. We love it. We can go hours with silence. We can go hours just listening to our favorite music. I was raised on road trips, so in turn, I raised my children on road trips. I remember being a little girl, and my happy place was in the back seat of the car, my dad at the wheel, Kenny Rogers in the tape deck. For those of you that don't know what a tape deck is, there is such a thing as a cassette tape that actually played music. And if it was your favorite song, you had to rewind it to go back to listen to it again. But I cherish those memories because at that point, I was having my family's undivided attention for the whole time in the car. I didn't have to compete with work or anything. I just got to be with my dad, with my mom, with my sister, and it was incredible time. My sister and I loved to read, so often we would find ourselves noses in books, and then pretty soon my dad would be yelling at us, "Hey, you're missing it. You're missing the scenery. Get your noses out of those books." And then as my kids would grow up, I would hear my dad's voice coming out of my mouth to my children, "You're missing the best part. Pay attention." Road trips have brought probably our most fond family memories. Our best family jokes have come from being in the car together for hours and hours. We've been in every type of weather. We've been in torrential downpours, blizzards, ice storms, you name it, we've driven through it. We have found ourselves with car trouble. At one point, we actually had to turn around, go back, and get a different car to continue on our road trip. We found ourselves in incredible destinations. From my husband's aunt and uncle's lake house in Minnesota to all the open fields in North Dakota visiting family, to the California coast, the Oregon coast. It's been amazing. One thing that has never happened to us on the road, whether it was my dad driving or my husband driving, we've never been lost. I don't know if you all know what this is, but this is a road map. And we've had this. Growing up, my dad had a big, huge book that had maps in it. My mom, I think the map book was as big as her. She would be trying to get through it. Now we have these, right? For a while in the in-between, there was a GPS that you put to your dash, but now this is our GPS. But guess what? Cell service isn't everywhere, so you need this too. We've never been lost. I always knew we would get where we were going. I trusted who was at the wheel. I didn't have to be afraid. I could just enjoy the journey that we were on. I don't know about you, but life itself can feel like a road trip, can it? It can feel like we're on the way, on the journey. Life is always going to give us choices on which path, which road we're going to go down. Day to day, we're going to have decisions that we're going to have to make. And those decisions can affect our entire future. And when it comes to making wise choices for our future, do you feel sometimes like you don't have one of these or one of these to help you find your way that you're going? How many of you have ever felt like you've taken the wrong exit? You've ended up in the wrong city or even the wrong state. Maybe you feel like you've been locked in the car for far too long and you need to get out and you need to stretch your legs because it feels like you're going numb. Maybe it's been too long since you've shared that family joke or enjoyed the peace with who's next to you in the car. It's interesting, I've been doing a weekly Zoom with some women, and these women are from all different ages, stages of life, and even different states. And this last week, it turned our focus to everybody going, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what path I'm supposed to be on. I don't know what road I'm supposed to take. I don't feel like I have one of these. You know, forks in the road, questions, the best path, the wrong path, the wise path, the not so wise path. Do I take the job? Do I go to school? Do I move? Do I upsize? Do I downsize? Do I buy the car? Do I break up? Do I get together? Those questions come at us left and right. The truth is, none of us can drive this road trip of life perfectly. We need divine direction. Where can we find it? Do yourself a favor and love wisdom. Learn all you can. Then watch your life flourish and prosper. Love wisdom. Learn all you can. Watch your life flourish. In Proverbs 1:20 through 21 and verse 23, it says, wisdom calls out on the street. She makes her voice heard in the public squares. She cries out above the commotion. She speaks at the entrance of the city gates. If you respond to my warning, then I will pour out my spirit on you and teach you my words. You see, God's wisdom doesn't need finding. It simply needs to be heard. The problem is our lives are filled with so many voices competing for our attention. Everyone and everything is screaming at us day in and day out. And here's a little tip for you. Did you know you can actually turn off the computer at the gas station? I did not know that. Because guess what? Even at the gas station, something is shouting at you, competing for your attention. Our world grows noisier and noisier by the day. The challenge is to block it out so we can hear God clearly. Reading our Bibles, this will fill our heads with the truth. But only when we put the truth into action does it become wisdom. Only then does it become wisdom. So what is wisdom? Our series is titled Be Wise. What does it mean to be wise? What's the difference between being wise and being intelligent? Have you ever known somebody that's really smart but you would never call them wise. Here's a couple things that can help us define it. You see, an intelligent person will always give the right answer, where a wise person will ask the right question. An intelligent person knows when to speak. A wise person knows when not to speak. A person can be smart from birth, but a person can only become wise with experience. An intelligent person knows how to react in any situation, where a wise person knows how to respond in a situation. Oh, I love this one. An intelligent person learns from his mistakes. A wise person learns from other people's mistakes. An intelligent person knows how to win an argument. A wise person knows how to win the heart. An intelligent man thinks he knows. A wise man knows he thinks. An intelligent man understands what's being said. A wise man understands what is left unsaid. So good. You know, I'm going to plug it a couple times, but if you're not doing the Proverbs reading plan that we've started to do on the YouVersion Bible app, it's incredible because Proverbs is full of so much practical wisdom. And this verse that I'm going to share with you, these few verses, it sounds exactly like a friend talking to a friend. And when I was going over my message with a friend, he said, you should read that as a friend. And so I'm going to. I want you to sit back, and I want you to imagine your best friend saying these words to you in Proverbs 4:14 through 15. Dear friend, take my advice. It will add years to your life. I'm writing out clear directions to Wisdom Way. I'm drawing a map to Righteous Road. I don't want you ending up in blind alleys or wasting time making wrong turns. Hold tight to good advice. Don't relax your grip. Guard it well. Your life is at stake. Don't take wicked bypass. Don't so much as set foot on that road. Stay clear of it. Give it a wide berth. Make a detour and be on your way. That's a good friend. And Proverbs 4:26 through 27 says, watch where you're going. Stick to the path of truth, and the road will be safe and smooth before you. Do not allow yourself to be sidetracked, even for a moment, or take the detour that leads to darkness. You see, the God of heaven has spoken his word. Will we hear and receive what he's saying? Wisdom, our friend, would direct us away from a road of regret. In Matthew 7:13, Jesus says these words, enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. Many enter through it. Many. Many. The psalmist was even envious of the wicked until he saw their destiny. In Psalm 73:18, it says, "Surely you have set them in slippery places. They will be cast down to destruction. Those who are far from God shall perish." But you see, God's not willing that any should perish. God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believed in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. This is the gospel. This is the message of the cross. I was reading a devotional this morning, and it was fascinating because it was talking about the cross, and it was talking about tough love. And it was mainly talking to men, but it was saying, men a lot of times think tough love is giving a bloody nose or a black eye. But tough love is actually being willing to be nailed to a cross for someone's life. That sacrificial love, taking on the weight of the world, taking on the sin of every person. But people today, they don't seem to love the message of the cross, that we're to die to ourselves. And Jesus speaks these hard words. "If any man come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me." Take up his cross and follow me. Luke records Jesus as saying, "Strive to enter the strait gate." And the Greek word of strive is agoizome, which we get our English word agonize. Agonize. I would be wrong if I didn't warn you about the destiny of those who choose the broad way. In Romans 8:13, it says, "For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the misdeeds of the body, you will live." It's death or life. It's death or life. The fact is, the broad path leads to destruction, and there is a way that seems right to men, to us, but it's the way of destruction. It's the way of death. One path is narrow, and few are walking on it. The other is broad and extremely popular. One wonderful thing, however, when you walk the narrow path, there's one walking beside you, guiding you, strengthening you, encouraging you. The paths, they lead to opposite destinations. Why are there so many going in at the wrong gate and walking on the wrong road? I don't know. Jesus doesn't give us a reason for the many and the few. He leaves it open that the majority could walk the narrow way. Did you know that you can know Jesus and be saved and still go on a broad road? Did you know you can love Jesus and go to church every Sunday and be on a really broad road in your marriage? You could be on the broad road in your finances. You could be on the broad road in your parenting. Did you know you could be living two lives? putting this one on for show and then this one at home? I get it. The narrow road is hard. He says it. He says it. He uses the word agonize and difficult. And some of you might be saying, well, Crystal, that's human nature. We like things easy. But you know what? I disagree. I disagree. Because I see people do all types of things that are hard all the time. I see people working hard for that promotion that they think is going to fill their cup or their bank account. I see people doing incredibly hard things because they're working for a reward or they're enjoying the challenge. They've taken up mountain climbing for the first time, never worked so hard in their life. So I know people can do hard things, and they even enjoy doing hard things, especially when it serves themselves. Surely, a life of following Jesus is worth the challenge. It brings the most incredible reward because what it brings is life. You see, when I walk a broad road, behind me follows destruction everywhere. But when I walk the narrow road, life follows me. Life. Jesus says this hard thing too. Jesus says lots of hard things. How hard is it for those who trust in riches to enter the kingdom of heaven? It is easier for the camel to go through the eye of a needle. And the disciples in amazement asked, who then can be saved? Who then? And Jesus responded, listen to these words. With man, it is impossible. But with God, all things are possible. With God. You see, the best path is a person. We need Jesus. He is the path. He is the source of wisdom. He is our roadmap. It's him. I want to take you into a story. The setting is Jesus' farewell address at his Last Supper with his disciples. He's just washed his disciples' feet. He's just explained to them what this means. Their beloved teacher is about to leave them. The ground is literally shifting beneath the disciples' feet at this moment. And we'll pick it up in John 14, verse 5. And Thomas, I love Thomas. He says to him, Lord, we don't know where you're going, so how can we know the way? So Thomas is like most of us, right? He's like, give me a GPS, give me a map. I need to know where you're going so I can find the way. And Jesus answers, and he says, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. You see, the best path is a person. This statement by Jesus is a promise. It's a word of comfort to his disciples, to us. It's to us. We can take this word for us. Jesus himself is all they need. He's all we need. And then in verse 7, it says, if you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him and have seen him. And God bless Philip, because he's just like us. He's like, Lord, show us the Father, and that will be enough for us. And Jesus, I think, a little frustrated at this point, Don't you know me, Philip, even after I've been among you for such a long time? Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? Sometimes I think we know who Jesus is, but do we know him? You see, we can know about him, but do we know him? Do we know him? Don't you believe that I am the Father and the Father is in me? The words I say to you, I do not speak on my own authority. Rather, it is the Father living in me who is doing his work. Believe me when I say that I am in the Father and the Father is in me, or at least believe on the evidence of the works themselves. Because very truly, I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I've been doing, and they will do even greater things than these. What? Even greater things? He says we'll do even greater things than these. I've been thinking about this a lot during this time of quarantine. We'll do even greater things. And then I was praying as I was preparing this message, and I'm like, Lord, I think sometimes we're confused because, you fed 5,000 and you rose people rose from the dead, and there was a healing here, and this happened. And I have to wonder, are we so distracted with the broad road that we're not focused on this and walking that narrow path, that we're missing everything he has for us because we're busy on the broad road? He wants to bring life through us everywhere we go. We got to get on that narrow path. We've got things to do. He wants to do them through us, but we can't be messing around on the broad road. And he says, because I'm going to the Father, and I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. You may ask for anything in my name, and I will do it. You guys, there's no need to panic. There's no need to search desperately for a secret map or GPS. He's letting us know that the best path is a person. How do I make him my path, Crystal? How do I make him my path? I think sometimes it's so simple and it's so practical that we miss it. I mean, for me, this is one way I make him my path. I seek him in his word. I listen to what he says, and then I apply it to my life. I spend time in prayer. And I don't just talk at him, I talk with him. And I listen to what he has to say. I surround myself with community. We need each other. You guys, we need each other now. And I know we're not meeting in a building, but guess what? You can meet with people through text message, through Zoom, through FaceTime, through Messenger. You can have relationship and you can be in community. And if you're sitting there right now going, no one has reached out to me, who have you reached out to? Who have you reached out to? Create your community. We have to have each other speaking into each other's life. There have been times I haven't known what path I'm supposed to go down. I mean, the most recent was when God was calling me out of my business with Pampered Chef and into something else, but I had no idea what it was. I was praying, I was seeking, I was talking to people, but here's what I know. When you are seeking Him and He is your path, He will not let you miss it. He will not let you miss what He has for you. He's going to use you wherever you are to bring life. Our world needs life and light and love. When I look back at the comfort I felt with my dad and my husband in the driver's seat, going to a destination, it's the trust I had in them. It's how I knew I could trust them because I was in relationship with them. I know them. When you know Jesus, you can trust Him with your whole entire life. And it doesn't matter where you're going because you know He's not going to get you lost. And He's not going to let you miss it. I'm going to have my friends come back up. We're going to sing a song. And then I'll come up and close us after that. It's not the road map. It's not the GPS. It's a relationship. It's not a road map. It's a relationship. He is the way.
Through every battle, through every heartbreak, through every circumstance, I believe that you are my fortress, you are my portion, you are my hiding place. Well, I believe you are the way, the truth, and the light. Well, I believe you are the way, and the truth, and the light. Oh, I believe through every blessing, through every promise, through every breath I take. I believe that you are provider, you are protector, you are the one I love. Oh, I believe you are the way, and the truth, and the light. Oh, I believe you are the way, and the truth, and the light. I believe it's a new horizon, and I'm set on you. And you meet me here today with mercies that are new. All my fears and doubts, they can all come to, because they can't stay long when I'm here with you. It's a new horizon, and I'm set on you. when I'm here with you, and the way, and the truth, and the light. I believe you are the way, and the truth, the light. Oh, I believe you are. You are. You are.
So we can stop chasing after wisdom. We simply need to quiet the noise, hone in on Jesus and his word and live it. And live our lives in full abundance, because that's what he died for. He didn't die for us to just survive, but to live a life full of abundance that's overflowing with life. So everywhere we go, every person we touch gets touched with his life that brings life everlasting, that not one would perish. So this week, can you come before Jesus and pray and ask him to highlight your path? Ask him to show you if you're heading down a road that is only going to bring hardship and destruction, because he will show you. He is faithful. He is true. And then I would ask that you do yourself a favor and love wisdom, and come back next week as we continue this discussion. I'm going to close this in prayer. And I want to ask if there are any of you that don't know Jesus. He so very much wants to invite you into a life of life abundant. So if that's you, will you please send a text, and we would love to pray with you and join you on that journey. He's so worth it. He is so worth it. Jesus, I thank you that you are the way, the truth, and the life, that we don't have to guess, that we don't have to panic, that we don't have to feel lost. We just have to set our eyes on you, Lord. We just have to set our compass toward you. And we can trust you. We can trust you. You will never get us lost. You will lead us in the way of life abundant. You have plans and purposes for each of us, God. And those plans and purposes mean life, not just for us, but for every person we touch. We love you, and we thank you for who you are. We thank you that you came for us, that was sacrificial love poured out for each of us. It is in your mighty, holy name we pray. Amen.